8 months ago, I uploaded a YouTube video called FUE Hair Transplant, Is It Worth It? Today, we find out. There we go, not the biggest reveal ever. I've got hair. That's exactly what we were expecting. It hasn't gone wrong. However, I have had a multitude of questions over the last 9 months now since I had the hair transplant done, so I thought this would be the best place to answer some of those questions and maybe put some of your minds at ease if you're debating going through the process. Before I answer any of those questions, you should probably watch the previous video where I actually documented the process of having the hair transplant. It's a 23-minute video, but I think it's fairly well detailed and gives you an idea of how it actually works from start to finish. The video goes from my first time in the clinic and ends just at the end of the 2 weeks recovery period. Now that we're here, I took to Instagram and asked my followers if they'd like to know anything about the hair transplant, whether it goes from day 1 right through to month 9, which we're on now. So I'm going to check out the questions, see what people have said. I've got my phone here and I can answer those for you right now, and hopefully I'll cover everything that you might be wanting to know back home. If not, leave a comment below for a specific question and I'll reply and try and give you the answer you're looking for. We're going to start off with a question that takes us right back to the beginning, which is 1 to 10 pain rating. I'm going to be 100% honest in this video and I'm not going to lie and tell you that it isn't painful. It is potentially the most painful experience I've ever been through. The whole process of the surgery was about 9 hours long for me, but the pain in the surgery itself only lasted about 20 to 30 minutes in total. The reason for this is that the only pain you really experience during the procedure is when they're actually putting in the local anaesthetic. So they're basically putting in loads of needles to numb your head, but that needle, every time it goes in, the needle itself doesn't really hurt, but the anaesthetic kind of feels like acid being put into your head. Now obviously I can't speak for everyone with this process. Some people probably handle it better than me. I've not got the best pain threshold. However, my brother has just gone through the same process and he told me it was so much worse than he imagined. This doesn't mean I'm trying to put you off having it done. Get it done. The pain is worth it. I promise. I'm so much happier now. The pain is worth it. Just don't expect it to be easy. I've been told I should wait until I'm at least the age of 25. Should I go to Turkey or should I wait? I'm not a surgeon. I'm not qualified in the field to be able to give you the correct answer for this. However, if you've been told that, you've already been given the answer. Don't go to Turkey. Wait. Personally, I had mine done at the British Hair Clinic in Essex. They've got 3 in the UK, Essex, London and Manchester, I believe. They do free consultations. Speak to someone there, they'll be able to give you the correct answer. The issue with having a hair transplant done before the age of 25 is that you don't truly know the extent of how much you're receding before then. They could fix a small part of your hair and then you're noticing it's still going to go back quite badly. So take the advice and wait. Is it fragile or is it fixed like normal hair? I've had quite a few questions that kind of go along those lines. I've got another one here that says, do you ever feel cautious about touching it or lying on it, or is it just like normal now? Does it ever hurt? No is the easy answer to that. I'm not worried about it in the slightest. I can mess around with it as much as I want. There's no issue with it at all. You never have a clue that anything's there. It doesn't hurt. I can hit it as much as I want. The only thing I would say is, not in all cases, but in my case at least, I felt sensitivity in my hair for maybe 5 months afterwards. Just saying it's sensitive, I know it doesn't help too much, but it's the best word I can use to describe it because it wasn't pain. There was no pain, but it did last a while. If I rubbed it or anything like that, if I touched it a little bit, it wouldn't hurt, but I definitely notice a difference to if I touched any other part of my skin, if that makes sense. What will it do to your aging process over time, such as balding or turning grey? The simple, quick and short answer to this is nothing. The reality is the only parts that your hair can be affected by are the parts that they've done the surgery on. That's what my hairline was like, and now you'll see my hairline is like this now. Where they've done the lines, of course, I can continue to recede further back than that, and the hair transplant will stay perfect where they've done it, and that bit can go bald. Same with going grey. That's exactly the same with the top of the hair. Parts of that can go grey as well. It won't look unusual. The perfect question to move on to straight after that one is, did you try any other hair loss products before the transplant, and are you continuing to use them now? The process going into all of this was a little bit different for me than it might be for the majority of people who go into a hair transplant. Not just because British Hair Clinic sponsored mine essentially so that I can talk about it in situations like this and post about it, but also because I didn't really plan to have one done. I was was using the length in my hair in the sides to hide how bad my hairline was before. That was until I decided to do a charity stream on Twitch, and we said if we raised a certain amount of money, I'd shave all of my hair off. I didn't want to lose my hair, so I set the target quite high. I said if we can raise £10,000, I'd shave my hair off. I didn't think we'd get there, but in the end, thanks to hundreds of generous, incredible people, we smashed that target and ended up raising over £11,000, but we had to say goodbye to the quiff. This was really when I started to notice just how much I hated my hairline, because I had to then stay bald. There was no growing it back for me, because if I tried to grow it back, it was far too obvious just how bad my receding line was, and also in the centre where I was balding as well. Luckily for me, I was then given this opportunity to take the hair transplant, which is something I was absolutely buzzing for. So British Hair Clinic, you are absolute legends for this. Like, I'm so much happier with it now. As you can probably tell, and my confidence has skyrocketed, and I don't feel like I look 36 anymore. I'll take 29. Did I ever use hair products before? No, I didn't. I didn't try finasteride tablets. I didn't try Regain, minoxidil. I tried nothing like that. But now that I've had the transplant done, I use both. One product I use is finasteride. That's small tablets I take every single day. Finasteride can take a while to kind of kick in and start working, but the aim of it is that it can thicken up your hair and also slow down the balding process. Of course, with any tablet, there can be potential side effects, but this is something you need to speak to your surgeon about. Luckily for me, I've experienced absolutely nothing, and I'm happy to carry on trying. The other product I use is something called Regain. You might have already heard of this. This is the minoxidil part of it. Regain is super quick and easy to use. I use it once in the morning and once in the evening. You just pop off the lid, and then it's basically like a little cream that you can squirt into your hair. So say I think I'm balding at the back there, I could squirt it in, and I can rub it into the roots, try and get right down to the skin, rub it in. It should help the process and stop it from balding. Neither of the products really affect my day-to-day life. That I tend to do before I shower for the day, and then I also tend to do it before I go to sleep at night. This is going to be one of the questions that a lot of you who are debating out there really want to know the answer to, and it's when did the shedding phase start and stop? For those of you who are watching this who don't understand what the shedding phase is, I'll give a quick explanation of that now. I won't go into any of the sciencey details of the whole thing, but in short, it's essentially a time in which, after you have your hair transplant, the areas that you've had it done in, the hair falls out. This is the most terrifying stage of the whole process. It's disgusting and I hated it. Once the hairs fall out from the transplanted areas, the grafts that are under the skin take a while to let the new hairs come through. It took around about 5-6 months until I really noticed a massive difference in my hair. Now the issue with this is that I came across quite a lot of situations in which I'd have people coming up to me and saying, oh, the hair transplant hasn't worked. It doesn't look like it's taken properly. It looks really bald in those areas. I think I'll have a few photos that I can show you from, or maybe even videos from previous streams, and if you have a look at my hair in those, you'll see it wasn't the nicest process for me. However, it's really nothing to worry about. It's not great having people telling you that they don't think your hair transplant worked, but who cares? Because a couple of months down the line, you're going to end up having the hair come back through and be happier than ever. As I mentioned earlier, my brother has also just had a hair transplant, but he is currently going through that shedding phase and he is hating it. However, he's much braver than me, and he's just getting on with life. He's just living as if everything is normal, because it is. It's just that they've come out. The only thing I really didn't like about it is that they come out so it almost looks like you're balding in those areas rather than the fact that it's going to come back through. But as I said, after the 14 days, you can wear a hat, you can hide it if you need to. Obviously, I know some of you are going to be in situations where you work and you can't, but I carried on streaming the whole time, which is why you have so much footage of me looking awful with the shedding phase going on. I went and did an event in London with my hair looking like that, and yeah, I hated it, and I hated the looks, and I hated the comments, but we're through it now, and I'm happier than ever. Look at how much better this is than what it was before. This question's tickled me a little bit. Someone has asked, do you think you're making poor bald men feel worse? No, like, it's such an odd question because I understand where you're coming from. A hair transplant is a very expensive procedure. You could fly over to Turkey and get it a little bit cheaper if you're worried about the money. I'm not ever going to recommend that. It was never anything I would have considered because I wanted the safety and the trust that I knew I'd have in a British surgeon. My brain can only ever comprehend the idea that maybe there's a reason it's a lot cheaper, and I wanted to make sure I went for the best I could get. And yes, of course, I understand I am extremely fortunate. You guys know I didn't have to pay for mine. I did do it through a brand deal. deal. British Hair Clinic, I thank you every day for that, and I understand just how fortunate and lucky I am. The best way I can kind of answer this question though is that if you go to the British Hair Clinic, I know for a fact they do free consultations. They're not expecting you to just throw money at them straight away. They'll do a free consultation, and then after that it's up to you what route you take. The transplant itself is around about £5,000, I believe, and I know this because my brother's just had one done and I didn't get him any form of discount. It's not really how it works. This is always going to come down to a person-to-person basis. I'm not expecting every single one of you right now who are watching this to just go and splash the money on a hair transplant. I know that's not possible. This is why I know British Hair Clinic give an option. They're not expecting you to splash that money out straight away. They know people can't just afford that, so they offer payment plans. Again, have a free consultation, ask about the payment plans, and see what the best option is for you. Another question I was asked quite a lot was about the aftercare side of things, so that's the 2 weeks post-hair transplant. I'm not really going to cover that too much in this video. The reason for that is because I told you about my previous video, FUE hair transplant, is it worth it? In that video, I recorded the full 2 weeks recovery afterwards, and I speak about it in depth on that. The really strange thing about that recovery process is that for this video, I decided to watch that back, and I don't remember how bad it was. Like right now, I don't really think about the recovery at all. But then, it was like hell. I hated it. I barely slept. I slept sat up on my sofa for 2 weeks pretty much. I was really pedantic about doing things. I wouldn't even lean down to put my shoes on because I was worried about blood rushing to my head. I didn't play football for a few months. Like, I was so cautious and pedantic that I avoided doing most things. Looking back now, like, it wasn't an issue. Like, in the end, it's the final result that matters. The journey getting there can be hell, but as long as the final result you're happy with, who cares? This question kind of ties in along with the person who said they were advised to wait until they were 25 to have a hair transplant. At what stage of losing hair would you recommend getting it done? This one's a really hard one to answer because I think it's going to be different depending on who you ask. My hair could have been a lot worse than it was by the time I had it done, but I really wanted it done before then because I was already hating it. I also do a job that involves me being seen by quite a few people every week. I did get comments from people who felt like it was necessary to tell me that my hair was receding, which is a mental thing, but that's what kind of pushes people like me, and maybe you if you're watching this and you're debating having it done. We are surrounded by idiots in this world who feel like it's necessary to put us down for something we can't control. As I said though, there is no true answer to this question. Some people wait until the whole top of their hair is gone and then that's when they go for the hair transplant. Some people, as soon as it starts to recede a bit, might start going for PRP injection. I'm going to quickly explain what a PRP treatment is and what it does, because you might be considering this maybe even before you start properly balding. The treatment itself involves taking blood from your arm, shaking that blood in a centrifuge, and then taking the plasma and injecting it back into your head. PRP treatments are essentially meant to kind of speed up the hair growing process whilst also slowing down the receding process. I am obviously in a boat where I'm 29 now and the back of my hair can start to be receding. You can see it's a little bit thinner at the back than it is the front. The PRP treatments can also help me in these areas to help stop that, along with the finasteride and the minoxidil. Those treatments are a lot cheaper as well than an actual hair transplant, so maybe if you are worried that in the future you're going to need to go down that route, book in again, free consultation, speak to the surgeons and see what you think is best for you. I've booked in for a hair transplant in September. Can you wear your hair down or does it naturally stick up? This is a weird question because it's something I never even considered before I had my hair transplant done. The reason I find it like a little bit of an odd question though is because it does grow slightly differently to how it did before. When it first started coming through, I noticed my hair kind of grows upwards rather than back down. I have really naturally straight hair, so before I had this done, when I had my hair long, it would kind of just come down to like my eyebrows and just be down. I'd have to use hair dryers and style it to kind of keep it up and out of the way. Now, this has nothing in it. Like right now, the only thing it has in it is the Regain that you saw me use. But I don't put hair product in anymore. To properly answer the question though, after I wash my hair, yes, my hair kind of just goes like this and stays down, and it can stay down if I decide to let it dry down. However, because I want to style it without using product, whilst it's wet, I push it up and then it kind of just stays up for the day. And this also ties into just how much happier I am with this hair now. If I'm out and about and the wind blows and my hair feels like it's messing up everywhere, I don't care anymore. That used to really be something that bothered me and messed with my head on a day-to-day basis. If I left the house and it was raining or it was windy, as soon as I leave and I feel a strong gust of wind, I'd know my hair's messed up and I'd absolutely hate it. But now, thanks to the fact that I have a hairline I don't have to worry about, I just don't care. Like, anything can happen to my hair and I'm okay with it. I actually don't know if I properly answered your question, but yes, it can grow downwards. It didn't at first, it did just grow up, but then I think gravity starting starting to take effect a little bit more now, and it can come down if I want it to. Can you grow long hair, or is it just short? I feel like the answer to this one is fairly obvious, but there's no reason my hair couldn't grow to a long length again now. Personally, I've never really gone for a long hair look, so I'm quite happy with having it like it is now. But all they do is take the hair from the back of your head and put it in the front. So if the back of my hair could grow long, then there's no reason the top can't now. The only other thing I want to mention in this video is that they told me it takes around 12 months plus to see the full results of your hair, and this is true. And the reason I know this is true is because when I pull my hair back, I can still see and feel really little hairs coming through, which means over the coming months my hair's only going to get thicker. There we go, that covers pretty much everything I can personally think of. If you have any other questions, as I said earlier, comment down below and I'll reply to your comment and hopefully be able to give you a better answer. If you're interested in seeing just how much more this grows, I can't imagine I'm going to do another update video on this, so get over to my Instagram, check out on there, you'll see what my hair's looking like there. Follow me on Twitter just because I do funny stuff very occasionally, but most importantly, get over to my Twitch. You can talk to me live on there and you'll be able to see my hair every day. If you fancy it, like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel, and you'll see other stuff at some point. Don't know why I've gone really sad at the end. It's been a pleasure. Bye! Oh, still here.